Now, Carol, you have been very honest.
Yeah.
Was that a sort of principled decision?
Well, no, I just didn't think I'd be able to get away with it.
I love you, Carol.
because it was just so obvious, you know. 1 minute I look like that, the next minute I look like that. So I thought, well, you know, what's the point? But thinking about it, I think that it doesn't do other women any favours to say, you know, when it's pretty obvious that you've had something done, to turn around to other women and say, no, I just eat chia seeds for breakfast. That's why I look like this. It's not... I think it doesn't do anyone any favours because it makes other women insecure and it makes them think, well, what am I doing wrong? Maybe if I just eat chia seeds, I'll be OK. But you won't, because most people in show business, let's face it, have had something done or have regular procedures to make them look the way they do. And there are so many of them that just...
Well, the other side of it, there's
say, no, I've never had anything done.
I think it's against women code. If you've got your really close friends and you'd had something done and you hadn't told them, and they're like, oh, you know, I'm exercising as much.
You wouldn't not tell your close friends.
Well,
What? What?
Well, there are some people.
What?
Yeah.
I can't say. That wouldn't say.
What have you had done?
No, not me. There are some people that don't.
Would you tell us then if you had something done?
I would.
Would you tell everybody? Would you tell the world?
I mean, I don't think it would be... I mean, I think rather like Carol, it's very different for us, isn't it, because we're on telly, so you're not going to get away with having something done and keeping it a secret. But I would certainly not keep it secret from my friends.
Would you, Rebecca?
I would feel like a fraud.
Yeah.
I would... You know what? I wouldn't tell... Probably because I'm in the public eye. I wouldn't tell anybody, to be honest.
Wouldn't you?
No, because...
Anyone at all?
I'd tell friends and family, but no, I wouldn't tell anyone because I feel like people get judged by it, and there's presumptions made that you're vain or you're not intelligent, and I've heard so many passing comments about people who've had surgery, and I think there's a difference between corrective and cosmetic. I think it makes no difference if you want to have something that's going to enhance and make you feel good and positive, go for it. But I think...
Have you ever been tempted then?
Yes, I have, yeah. But, again, I would never disclose. Never. Because you see these poor celebrities and there's pictures of them. Oh, look at them before, look at them after. And it's like the body shamed and
So you feel it would encourage that for people to look at
And I think it takes away from the people's talent as well. You might have an amazing actress or singer or whatever, and then they're just judged on the nose job or whatever they've had.
I mean, it's a difficult one, and I have to say, one of the reasons that I would be reluctant to do it is because I would feel morally obliged to be honest, but actually I wouldn't want to tell everyone. You know,
those morals.
I mean, those morals of mine are terrible. But when I look at somebody like Jane Fonda, who is very open about it, and I admire Jane Fonda a lot. I mean, she has a great talent. She's a very smart woman. She's got opinions. She's in her early 80s now. She keeps herself fit and all the rest of it. So she's a rounded person. Yeah. And I don't think people judge her badly because it's part of
I think people do.
They?
People always say... I kind of agree with you. I think people do say Jane Fonda and then they say, but all that work. It does come after it. It does.
If she lied about it and said that she hadn't had anything done, and that would be even worse because there would still be the comparisons, wouldn't there? You would still... Because you do get to a certain age and you can't get away with it. If you're young and you have something done, whatever it is, people wouldn't notice. They would just think that you look, you know, better or you had a good night's sleep or something. But we can't get away with it because it's too obvious.
It's too obvious.
I think it's sad that the numbers, as you were saying at the beginning there, Kay, that the age is going down and down and down, and I can certainly see
younger
that.
than it says.
I think it's much younger than that. And I mean, I've spoken to people. They say, you know, there's girls of 19 going and getting Botox because they're trying to prevent any sort of ageing. And I think that that's really sad, and I think it's really dangerous. I think you have to live a life to get to something and to experience the droop. I mean, it was so fun.
I agree.
My kids are very, you know, they're very alternative. They're home educated. They don't feel pressures, I think, like a lot of other children might, and they're very anti anything like that. I mean, they'll go, oh, my God, that person's had this or that person's had that. And so I just threw into the ring the other day, just casually to Kiki. And I said, oh, so what do you think if I ever had a neck lift? tell me right now you are not having one. I went, no, I'm not having one. She said, are you thinking about it? I said, no, I'm not thinking. You are. You're going to have to. I thought, damn, I can't ever have one.
Well, you don't want to set a bad example to them.
Yeah,
At the
because
same time,
I
you
spent
shouldn't let
my whole...
your kids tell you what to do.
Well, they're not.
They're kids.
But they're not telling you what they do. What they're doing
They
is...
tell you what to do.
No, but they're coming at me from what
Telling
I've
you what not to
instilled
do.
in them, which is you have to be who you are.
Practice
you
what you
can't...
preach.
Yeah, I've got to blimmin' practice what I blimmin'
But
preach.
when you watch,
really regret
when you watch
it.
those reality shows, there isn't a single young woman on those shows, I would say, that haven't had something done. They've all had something done
Well,
because because they all want to look the exact same. They're never going to know what they would have looked like.
But we also
naturally.
have to remember, you know, this is a medical procedure that carries risks. And presumably you
Exactly.
thought
Yours
about
was
that.
really hard, didn't you?
It wasn't
really uncomfortable.
Yeah, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. A lot of people get it done for free, and then they come out and go, "Oh, it was so easy." You know, next day I was out shopping. No, you weren't. not unless you had a big mask on.
That's why I think it's really good you
it's
paid for
difficult.
yours, because you tell the truth.
Yeah, I
because
did.
I remember you saying a couple of months back, you said, because you were still getting all this real numbness around your
Yeah,
ears, and
no,
you
I
said,
know, it's only
do you
just
know what?
going.
I almost wish I hadn't done. You had a moment. I don't know if you remember that. I mean, now you don't regret it.
No.
But it's hard. It's been hard, hasn't it?
It has been quite difficult,
Yeah.
but I knew that it would recover. And I also knew because a friend of mine had it done by the same surgeon, and she was very honest with me, so I kind of knew what to expect. So I was absolutely ready for it. But I do think that a lot of women would go for it thinking, this is going to be really easy. And it's not painful. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't hurt. There's no pain. Well, it wasn't for me. It was just really uncomfortable. And having to sleep upright for 3 weeks and having this compression bandage on your face. And when you take it off, you seriously look like you've been in a fire. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
It's bad.
It's not an easy
Thank
choice.
you.
But I would never show you those pictures because what's the point? Look at me now.